Hello and welcome everyone to this session on communication skills for technical teachers. My name is Ramchandra Dhunukshe. I work as lecturer in English for Kusro Wadia Institute of Technology, Pune. I have been told that more than 1700 participants from various locations have been undergoing this training program. It gives me immense pleasure to be able to communicate with such a huge audience. Let me take this opportunity to thank the organizing institute, Vidyavardhini Institute of Technology, PAL, for giving me this opportunity. I feel honored to be associated with two of the most renowned institutes. One is Shri Moni Vidyapith's Institute of Civil and Rural Engineering, Gargoti District, Kolhapur, where I have worked earlier. A pioneer in rural education, a guiding source to thousands of students coming from rural as well as urban backgrounds for more than 65 years. I have worked here for 15 years, initially as a lab assistant and later on as a lecturer in English. The other one is Modern Education Society's Kusro Wadia Institute of Technology, Pune, where I am working presently. I have been working here for last 7 years. This institute has been serving the society with its innovative practices, commitment and dedication for more than 80 proud years. Actually, today in this session, I am not going to teach you as such, because you all are my colleagues, friends, fellow teachers. Maybe some of you are quite senior, experienced and more knowledgeable than me. But yes, I will be sharing my experience, my ideas and thoughts with you. I hope and I'm quite sure that this would prove to be beneficial for you. Please feel free to ask any doubts after you watch the videos carefully. I hope the coordinators have made you aware about the method or medium through which you can put forth your doubts. I assure you that I will try my best to answer your queries. Let's start with need and importance of communication skills. Communication is the lifeblood of any organization. No organization can function without communication. Effective communication promotes the spirit of understanding and cooperation between management and employees. It is useful for motivation of the employees and improving their morale. It is necessary to deliver an effective lecture, presentation, seminar, or a research paper presentation. It helps in keeping healthy relation with the stakeholders. Communication is a key factor to success. Warren Buffett says, if you improve your communication skills, I guarantee you that you will earn 50% more money over your lifetime. As you might be aware, Warren Buffett is considered as one of the most successful investors. In 2008, he became the richest person in the world, and in December 2019, his net worth was $88.9 billion, making him the world's fourth richest person. Forget about money if you are not interested in it. You can replace the word money with another word like success, and you can say if you improve your communication skills, you will earn 50% more success. It is equally true. Good communication is instrumental in self-satisfaction. Look back for a moment and think about all the lectures that you have conducted so far. How satisfied are you with your performance? Were you able to convey all that you had planned? How effective were you? Was there something that was missing? How do you feel now about that experience? Now think about the lectures that gave you a sense of satisfaction and achievement. The fact is, when we successfully convey our message and the audience understands the meaning exactly as intended by us, it gives us a sense of satisfaction, and this satisfaction can never be measured in terms of money. As it has been rightly said by William Clay Ford Jr., I am not motivated by money or power or fame. In the end, it doesn't bring much happiness. The only thing that is driving me is self-satisfaction, self-validation. Growth is an important factor in our life. Communication helps us to grow in every aspect. Keep growing because stagnant water becomes putrid. I'm going to tell you an interesting fact. Every teacher is a good speaker. This statement might surprise you. Maybe you don't agree because you might have seen some teachers who are not as good or as effective as they should be in teaching. But still, I say every teacher is a good speaker. Here is the reason. Imagine you are taking a class for around 60 minutes, dealing with about 60 or sometimes more than 60 students. The fact is, keeping the students engaged for 60 minutes is not an easy task. Everyone cannot do it. Look around in the society. How many people you know are comfortable with public speaking? How many people come forward willingly on the stage to say something? Public speaking is not an easy task. And here comes the advantage. We, the teachers, are good at it. This was the bright side. But unfortunately, there are darker shades that we must take into consideration. Let's try and understand this with the help of an analogy. This is the bright side that we have talked about. But as you can see, there is something missing. To fill up the space, we have to consider two things. These are two challenges as well as two darker shades of our lives. The first is expectations. Your own expectations from yourself, as well as other people's expectations from you, like students, parents, other stakeholders, and the society as a whole. The second dark shade is aversion to change. Comfort zone. We don't want to try different things. We get saturated, don't want to take risks, and this is the biggest obstacle. Now we are here. To reach here, we have to overcome these two main challenges. But things don't stop here. As we improve, the things around us change. The social, economical, and technological changes pose new challenges before us. Here, we need just a little effort because we already have a strong base ready. We just have to push ourselves a little. As you know, this goes on and on and on. Things keep on changing. We should never cease to be a learner. until we take our last breath. All these things are 100% applicable to improving our communication skills. Now I want you to pause the video for 1 minute, take a pen and a paper, and write down the qualities of a good teacher. No need to write full sentences, write only keywords. I will give you a couple of examples like hardworking, respectful, etc. Please take a pen and a paper and start writing. Pause the video and play again after you have finished. I hope you have made a long list. Here is what is commonly considered as qualities of a good teacher. You might have a different list. Whatever list you have made, the list cannot be complete without one thing, and that is communication skills. Now let's talk about some basics of communication. Why do we communicate? We communicate to give information, make inquiries, express our needs, feelings, etc., share our ideas and thoughts, keep healthy relation with people, form social bonds. The list can be longer. Communication is defined in different words by different scholars, but the simplest definition is given by W.H. Newman. Communication is an exchange of ideas, thoughts, feelings, emotions, etc. by two or more persons. Let's try to understand the communication process. Communication is a cyclic process. There are minimum two persons involved in communication process. One is the sender. Sender is a person who wants to express something. The other one is the receiver. Receiver is the person to whom the message is to be conveyed. Message is the idea or thought in the mind of the sender. Feedback is the reply given by the receiver after receiving the message. Channel is the medium through which the message is transferred. Let's say this is Sharad. He calls his friend Prashant and says, "I tried calling you many times. Why didn't you answer?" Prashant says, "I'm really sorry. I had put my phone on silent mode by mistake." Here, this is the message to be conveyed, and this is the feedback. Encoding and decoding are the two important aspects that we need to understand. Encoding is the process by which the sender converts his abstract ideas, thoughts, into concrete words and symbols. These words and symbols are conveyed to the receiver. The process of encoding is carried out in the mind of the sender when he or she designs the message. The sender is also called as encoder. Decoding is exactly opposite. It is the process by which the receiver understands the meaning of the words and symbols. The process of decoding is carried out in the mind of the receiver when he or she tries to get the meaning of the message. The receiver is also called decoder. Communication is effective only when the receiver is able to understand the exact meaning as intended by the sender. Imagine 4 people send you a message. Person A sends this message. Person B sends this message. Person C sends this message. and person D sends this message. Which of these messages are you able to decode? I'm not aware which languages you know, but probably you were not able to decode these two messages. The reason being they are in German and French languages respectively. You are not able to decode these messages because you haven't learnt and you haven't been trained to decode the symbols. Hence, in order to understand the meaning behind the symbols, you need to train yourself accordingly. You might be aware that secret agencies use secret code language so that only certain people should be able to decode the message. Morse code is one example. Even computer programming languages use certain codes. These can be decoded by certain people only. Now take a moment, read this passage and see if you can understand the meaning. Okay, now take a look at this. Okay, now think about which one is easier for you to decode and what is the reason. The point here is communication greatly depends upon the ability to encode and decode the message. Now we are going to take a look at various types of communication. I am going to explain this very quickly. Communication can be verbal or non-verbal. When we use language to communicate, it is called as verbal communication. It can be oral or written. For example, a lecture, a face-to-face talk or a dialogue on telephone, meetings, interviews or group discussions, etc. are the examples of oral communication. Oral communication is more direct and faster than written communication. But in most of the cases, it cannot be preserved as record and is difficult to produce as legal proof. Examples of written communication are all kinds of letters, written messages sent through messaging apps, emails, etc. Written communication is slower than oral communication, but it is authentic and we can trace the record and can be considered as legally valid. Sometimes we communicate without using language or we make minimal use of language. Such type of communication is called as non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication can be graphical communication or body language. Examples of graphical communication are graphs, charts, images, pictures, signs, etc. Some of the examples of body language are facial expressions, eye contact, gestures, postures, paralanguage, etc. We are going to look into the details of body language later on. Communication can be formal or informal. Formal communication is any official or work-related authentic communication that can be preserved for record purpose. You submit your leave application to your head is an example of formal communication. You display a notice on the notice board for the students is also formal communication. Your principal sends a circular to inform the staff about some official matters like exam timetable, academic activities, rules, decisions taken by higher bodies, etc. is formal communication. Formal communication has specific rules, regulations. It flows in a controlled manner in a specific direction and is mostly carried out in an organizational setting. Informal communication is carried out in a casual manner with our friends, family, relatives, and even with colleagues. This is not official, it is not authentic. We don't have to follow organizational rules like in formal communication. Informal communication is also called as grapevine communication because, like a grapevine grows in any direction, this informal communication flows in any direction with no control. Examples are chat, gossip, rumors, etc. We don't know where exactly a rumor originates and how it proceeds to different people. It gets distorted every time it passes from one person to another person. There are certain things that create disturbances or obstacles in the process of communication. These obstacles are called barriers. And there are certain things, certain principles to be followed in order to make our communication effective. We will study this in the next part. In this video, we studied need and importance of communication. Communication is the lifeblood of any organization. No organization can function without communication. Communication is a key factor to become successful. Good communication leads to self-satisfaction. It is essential in personal as well as professional growth. We studied the basics of communication. 5 elements of communication cycle are sender, receiver, message, feedback, and channel. Encoding is the process by which the sender converts his abstract ideas into concrete words or symbols. Decoding is exactly opposite. It is the process by which the receiver breaks down and tries to understand the meaning of the words or symbols. We also studied various types of communication like verbal and non-verbal, oral and written, graphical and body language, formal communication, and informal or grapevine communication. I hope you have enjoyed watching the video. Have a nice time, stay safe, stay healthy, take care and goodbye.